Hello and welcome back. I am home from my sort of birthday trip and it is a unbelievably windy, cold day today. I think we had around 5 degrees Celsius last night. That's pretty much as cold as it gets here. They are forecasting potentially 4 for tomorrow night. That's cold. I mean, we have single pane glass here and yeah, we're not where I live, it's definitely not set up for cold weather, so it's quite cold. It's around about 12 o'clock now and I've basically just been productive, but I've been productive inside, kind of waiting for the temperatures to warm up a little bit outside. I sort of had one of those mornings where I tackled the guest room cupboard. You know, when you just kind of have a cupboard where all of your bits and bobs live. That is my guest room cupboard, and it's sort of gotten to the point where, you know, when you toss something in a cupboard and you have to quickly shut the door so that it doesn't all fall out, that's the situation there. So I spent the majority of the morning doing loads and loads of washing and basically tackling that guest room cupboard. I'm pleased to say it is all sorted, which is brilliant. I didn't film that with you. I felt like, yeah, it probably wouldn't have been riveting. It was just me trying to get in there and get things sorted and all my decorator pieces and Christmas decorations and all that sort of thing. So, but I've tackled that. I've done a number of loads of washing, as I said. I think I did maybe 3 this morning, but nothing else is going to fit on the clothesline today. And I've probably got, because as I was going through the cupboard, I pulled out a bunch of blankets and things, all needed to be washed. So I've got several more loads of washing to go. Gosh, that's very pretty. But it is, as I said, around about lunchtime now, and the temperatures have warmed up a little bit. I am dressed in my, I think I told you when we were on the Gold Coast in the last videos, I went into Victoria's Secret and I bought this really comfy sort of lounge wear set. So it's like a track pants and a long sleeve sort of button down top. That is what I'm wearing today. Just trying to keep warm. But anywho, as it's warmed up a little bit now, what I thought I would do is pop outside with you, give you a little tiny garden update. We might do like the full garden update maybe next week. There's always so much going on. But what I wanted to definitely tackle in the garden today, I wanted to get the kale seedlings in, and I wanted to plant my blueberry little bush that we bought together actually, I think a few weeks ago. It's just been sitting around the potting shed in a little tray of water. So that is the plan. I also need to tie up my pumpkin. Oh, and goodness, I have another pumpkin. So I have 3 little pumpkins starting at the moment, which I'm so excited about. Gosh, this little section of roses is just spectacular. I think if I go over there though, with the angle of the sun, I'm going to block a lot of it. Oh no, here we go. All these ground cover roses. Gosh, they're so pretty. And then this one here in the little pot. So the reason this one had to go into a pot and not in the ground, which would have been the preferred, is there's actually a lot of rocks in this sort of position. It's sort of under this little rock wall, and there are actually rocks right there. So we've popped it into a pot, and then I've got the star-cluster pantis in the front here, and I think once it grows big, it'll hide the pot and it will just be really pretty. But you can see, look at all of the buds. Really pretty. So yes, very quick in the garden today, given that it is freezing cold. Tie up the pumpkin, plant the blueberry, and get that kale in. But I'll quickly show you my little pumpkins that I've got. So we'll just pan up. So where is it on here? There you go. I've got one there, And then if I come around, I've got this one here. And then if I just come down a little bit, you can see, look at this little one starting here. So cute. So that's 3. There's possibly more in here, but it is quite a busy sort of bush here. So they are the only ones that I can see. But the rest of the vegetables did really well while we were away. You can see I've still got some caterpillars, honestly. At this time of year, I'll need to make up my little spray because that did work. It's just like a little combination of water, dishwashing liquid, and I think I put a little bit of white vinegar in it, and that seemed to work. Oh, I probably need to cut this back too. It's getting really big. Tomatoes, I don't know if they'll go red because I've got a few on here. You can see here, and there's a few more throughout. But now that we've got this cold snap, I'm not sure if it'll be warm enough for them to ripen. So we'll just have to wait and see. The other thing that I wanted to do with you today, after we've done a little bit of gardening, I do actually have to pop down to, there's like a small sort of coastal town. I'm coastal countryside, and I'm probably a little bit more in the countryside. The beach is a little short drive from me. So there is a little coastal town there near the beach. And so I thought, sorry, I'm just gonna try and block that microphone. Hopefully that helps. I thought what we might do is, I've got to go in there to pick up some things this afternoon. I thought I might bring you along and kind of just show you the beach. I mentioned when we were away, where we were staying on the Gold Coast, it was an open beach, whereas the beach at Hastings Street is kind of in like a bit of an inlet or a bay, which you'll see later on. But I thought I would do that with you as well today. Gosh, he's doing so well. This is the red climbing spinach, but you can see something has also been munching. And I have actually like looked through to see if I could find the culprit, but I couldn't see anything. I'm hoping that this cold weather will put an end to it. And I don't know if you can see in here, I don't know if this actually flowers. Can you see these little things? They're like white and they've got a little pink tip on them. Hopefully you can. I'm wondering if they're just new shoots, or is it going to flower, or... Yeah, bizarre. I'll have to have a little Google and see. My little lemon balm seedling is also doing really well. Very happy with that. Oh, gosh. I mean, if nothing else, it is good drying weather for all the sheets and towels. All right, I've procrastinated in the sun long enough. That sort of warmed me up a little bit, that little stroll. So let's go get the gardening gloves on and let's plant some kale and a blueberry bush. Okay, first things first, I think what I'm going to do is actually swap around those 2 strawberry pots. You'll know this little grey one used to be on the other side. The sun was just getting blocked from the pumpkin, so I very quickly moved it. But with the slope of the sort of beams here, I think it makes more sense for them to be swapped around. So I'm just going to quickly swap those around, and then I'm going to tie up as much of the pumpkin as I can. And just kind of get that situated, and then we'll tackle the kale. So again, forgive the gardening outfit. I would normally not garden in an outfit like this, but I just really want to be warm, and I'm not doing anything super intense today. So Alright, kale is tied up to the best of my abilities with the length that the vines currently are. So you can see there's quite a mass here on this sort of end. That's because there's quite a few short vines. So as they get bigger, I will continue to go along here and then I'll go down like I'm doing with this one here. I'm kind of thinking I might let it go all the way just along this front run here, and then once it kind of gets to that corner down there, I might start trying to do sort of a prune back just to kind of keep it a manageable size. I've already got 3 pumpkins on it, so fingers crossed. I might have to do a little bit more research. I've got a couple of, I'll take you over there. I've got a couple of spent flowers and I've got one that looks like it's going to open shortly. So I think that that's a good sign. And then I also just, you saw, swapped around the 2 strawberries. It just means I can see inside the pot of this one a little bit better, the little grey one. So just to show you, as I was saying, I've got a few, so like that one looks like a spent flower. And then just around the back here, I've got a spent flower, and then this one here looks like it's going to open very soon. But it's definitely I mean, it looks healthy and it seems to be doing okay. So fingers crossed. If you've ever grown pumpkins and you have any tips, I would love to know. Did you prune yours back? I'm a bit nervous about pruning it back, but I don't want it to get too big. So yeah, if you've grown pumpkins before, please let me know if did you start pruning them back once the pumpkins sort of got on the vine. I'm conscious that not all the flowers are opening, so fingers crossed they'll start to do that in the next couple of weeks. And I assume, and I will have to Google this, I've only just thought of it then, like you can see where the pumpkin is up here. Does it open? Like, does that little flower open? I don't know. I will Google it. But anyway, that's that job done. Very happy with that. Alright, I've got my little kale seedlings here. I did try and grow kale from seeds twice. So the first time a few came up, but then we had that torrential rain for like a month, and they kind of got washed out. And the second lot, nothing came up, which is really unusual. I've never had trouble with kale before at this time of year. So I'm wondering if the seeds are a little bit old and that's why none of them germinated. So I might actually get rid of that packet and kind of just start a new packet. But because I'm now behind in my kale, I've just purchased some seedlings there to kind of get me started. So keen to just get them in. So these are the kale. I normally get the dwarf, like the Scottish dwarf kale. It's better size-wise for my sized garden bed here. But yes, I'm just going to pop those in. I've got 6 little punnets there. So kale seeds are in. Gosh, it's actually a really, once you've warmed up, it's a really beautiful day outside. It is wall to wall sunshine, no clouds. That breeze is a little bit fresh, but yeah, now that I've warmed up a bit, it's really pleasant out here. What a lovely day. But yeah, kale is now done. Very happy with that. I'm so excited to start eating kale. I actually eat a fair bit of it. So keen for it to get to a substantial size so I can start to harvest. All right, so with the blueberry, what I think I'm going to do is just pop it over here where the climbing spinach is and the snack capsicums and lemon balm and that. I like to keep like fruits and vegetables together because they require a bit more frequent watering. It just makes it easier for me when I'm watering in the afternoon. I don't have to wander all around the garden finding each thing and then watering it. So that's the pot there. I'm slightly concerned that the pot might be too small, but I have mentioned to you before, I have never had success with blueberries before. I've had several blueberry bushes and I've got a couple of blueberries from them, but they've just never done particularly well. So I'm going to trial it again because I don't know why, but I have this desire to grow blueberries. I don't know why, but I just really want to grow them. So I'm going to pop them here so I can keep an eye on it. But just to show you, this is the one that I have purchased. So it's a full sun part shade. The height is only up to 1 meter and it's a 1 meter width. It does say it's great for pots and containers, which I'm happy about. It does sort of say, there we go. It's for subtropics. So I'm in a subtropical gardening zone. So this is designed, it doesn't require it's a low chill hours. It doesn't require, you know, so many hours under, I think it's like 7 degrees or something. So it's a low chill variety. So I'm hoping I'm going to have some success. I can already see that it is starting to get flowers. Can you see there? And then here, they're starting little buds. So fingers crossed, it will do really well and we'll be happy in this position. But I'm just going to get that in the ground now. And the soil I'm using, so blueberries, strawberries and all those sorts of things tend to like acidic soil. So I'm actually using a rose gardenia and azalea potting mix for this. Just because it's slightly more acidic. I've got 2 bags of this. I brought one around. I don't know if I'm actually going to need 2. Oh no, one is going to be sufficient. Add a little tiny bit more soil. So that is the blueberry planted up. Later this afternoon when I come out to water the other fruits and vegetables, I will give this a good water. But yeah, so fingers crossed, with these little buds coming through, I may get some blueberries soon. I mean, it's a very immature bush, so I don't think I'm going to get a ton of blueberries, but even a few would be nice. I could have them on my pancakes. I'm just trying to, there we go. I think I'm just going to keep this label just for a little bit. Oh, very happy to have that in. All right, I'm just going to clean up my mess. So everything has been put away. Oh, fingers crossed, a little blueberry likes it here. And even if I just get a few blueberries, I'll be very happy. Well, that is pretty much the gardening bits that I wanted to do for now. I'll have to come back out later on and give everything a good water, the kale, the blueberries, and then just generally the vegetables. I did want to just mention, I have some gardening plans I thought I would share with you. While we were away on holidays, I think I mentioned to you I was looking for some roses. I have a vision of what I would like to do. So in this area here, we have a little tiny like fence riser that I'm going to get a friend of ours to install for us. And that's going to kind of just go here. And then what I'm wanting to do is plant a climbing rose bush sort of up there on the fence and then sort of trail it up the fence. We've got these sort of structural supports here. Trail it up through there and then up over the riser. And I think that it is going to look gorgeous. Obviously like a wall of beautiful green leaves when it's not flowering, but then when it flowers, that rose smell and those beautiful blooms I think will look really pretty here. And I'm thinking like a pink or a, like, you know, sort of a lightish pink or even a dark pink. I just think that that sort of backdrop would look beautiful. And then I thought if I'm doing it on this side, I actually think it would be a really pretty backdrop over here. So there's a tree here in the back behind the tomatoes, this one here. I actually want to take that one out. It's much too big for that space. It constantly grows into the kitchen garden bed and it's a lot of work to keep it out of the kitchen garden bed. So I think I will get that taken out and we might put the similar kind of little risers along here. And then what I might do is get maybe even a different variety of climbing roses, kind of just to see how they go in behind the kitchen garden bed here, and then grow the roses up and over it. I think that that will just add such a magical touch to the garden. I think it will be beautiful. I could, you know, have the roses for cut roses. The smell will be just fantastic. And overall, I just think it will be a marvelous addition. So that is kind of what I'm working towards. I've done a heap of research on roses. I don't have any sort of full-sized roses in my garden. All of my roses are mini roses, like these ones here and the ones you saw down further that way. I've got the ground covers and then just a bunch of mini roses. But they actually do well in this garden. They bloom a lot. They seem very happy. And I've kind of worked out a system for caring for them really well. And so I think I'm ready to upgrade to sort of full-fledged climbing roses. And I just, oh, can you just imagine this full of beautiful, magical pink blooms? Anyway, that is my sort of plan. That's my vision. And I have, as I said, done a heap of research into climbing roses that will suit a subtropical climate. So often roses, if they're not suited to a subtropical climate, they can get like mildew and like black spot and things on them. So I've narrowed it down to 2 that I'm leaning towards, and I think I'm actually going to place the order today before they sell out and I can't get them at all. But yes, that's my little plan. That's my vision. There's lots going to be going on in the garden over the next couple of months. I've definitely got a vision of things, and there's a few things I want to change. So if you are enjoying this sort of content, please subscribe. I would love to go on this journey with you, and I would love to have you kind of join our little cottage family here. I also have had quite a number of updates in the house, so I might give you a bit of an updated house tour in a future video as well. I mentioned I had purchased a heap of art. Well, a lot of that art has gone up now and it is looking spectacular. So I might give you a bit of a house update. But let's head inside now. And as I said, I want to head down to sort of the little coastal village here at Hastings Street. And I'll show you the beach and kind of show you the street. It's a really beautiful street. Alright, so we have arrived. We are in Noosa at the moment, which is a town not too far from my sort of little countryside village. And it is very much like a tourist resort kind of focused town because the beach here is absolutely stunning, which you'll see in a moment. I'll show you. But if I was going to come to the beach, this is the beach that I would come to because it's a very nice, it's a protected beach. As I said earlier, it's not an open beach, so often the waves are really small. It's almost like a pool sort of swimming in. But the town, like the little resort town, which we're going through now, is really beautiful as well. So this is Hastings Street, which is kind of the main street. There's lots of shops, restaurants. At night time, they light it up really beautifully with all sort of fairy lights. I have taken you down here before at night, so it'll be in one of my other previous videos. But yeah, lots of cafes, lots of shopping, and then there is sort of this main street, which is Hastings Street, and then the beach is just through there. But there's lots of resorts and things here. Lots of holiday accommodation, and you can kind of just see like up here, these are like your resorts and things just behind. So there's the shops sort of down the bottom and at the front, and then the resorts tend to be a little bit behind. And as I mentioned when we were on the Gold Coast, you'll note here that there are no high rises. So I'm pretty sure there's a law or regulation or something like that that sort of says we can't be above 5 stories in Noosa Shire. So yeah, we don't have those high rises and things, which I actually really love. I think it kind of keeps that quite a countryside coastal vibe, quite like a small sleepy coastal town vibe. But yeah, lots of gorgeous restaurants, places to eat, you know, even bakeries, burger places. It's just a really pretty street. And it's, I mean, certain times of the year, obviously school holidays, peak times, it is absolute pandemonium down here. But at times this is sort of the off season at the moment, so it is quite quiet and just very pretty. So we'll sort of head, as I said, that's your main sort of Hastings Street, and then you can come down through this area, and this is what we sort of call Noosa Woods. And then at the end of Noosa Woods is, again, as we get down there, you'll see, but it's almost like a little spit, and it's surrounded by water and beaches and that, which is really lovely. And then as we go up the other end towards the French Quarter, you'll see the sort of main beach at Noosa. Some of the trees through here are just spectacularly stunning. And you can see over there already the ocean, like the river, Noosa River through there. And so this area is Noosa Woods. Gosh, the sun. And so there's a bunch of parking and things down here. So if you're going to spend the day, which a lot of people do, they come to Hastings Street for the day, you park your car, you can go to the beach, you can have lunch, poke around the stores and that, and really make a day out of it. It's low tide at the moment, so just as the trees clear on this side, you can see all the sand. So at high tide, all of those sort of sand banks and that would all be completely covered by water. But at this time, it's like really lovely if you've got little kids to bring them down here. So just to show you, I've just popped out of the car. And you can see how flat that water is. Gorgeous for swimming. Got the beautiful beach here. Very small, sort of protected waves. And that is the ocean out there. So I'll hop back in the car and we'll go up the other end and I will show you sort of the main beach at Hastings Street. So just heading back up through Noosa Woods to the main sort of strip of Hastings Street, and then we'll go up the other side where all the shops and restaurants were, and that will kind of take us to the French Quarter and the main beach. It is low tide at the moment, so you'll notice that when you're looking at the beach. And so just heading towards the French Quarter, you can see it's actually really quite hilly. I have taken you on a proper tour through this area before. I'll try and link the video down below where we sort of do a day sort of walk around throughout Hastings Street, and we do drive down at night time. And you get some gorgeous views because it is quite hilly, and I actually go for a walk up through the national park area and give you some views up there, which is also really beautiful. Gosh, these trees. And you can kind of see on these ones here already, the fairy lights are starting to turn on. And then just to show you, this is Noosa Main Beach. So the street we were just on is back here. And then you've got the gorgeous sand and the ocean. So you can see the difference between what we sort of saw on the Gold Coast and here. You can see like all the land on either side. It just protects it a little bit so that the water stays really beautiful and flat. Very easy to swim in. But it's a really just gorgeous beach.
People like weren't allowed to have.
And then you can sort of see here in front of you, obviously the ocean. There's the boardwalk here, which I've taken you for a walk along before. As I said, I'll link that video down below. But it's really gorgeous up here. And this road actually leads us to the national park area. But a lot of people use this boardwalk here just for like exercise purposes, going for walks. And I mean, that is your view of the ocean. Just going for your normal sort of walk. We are very lucky to have this so close to our doorstep. ocean and the boardwalk down there. It's a really stunning walk. As I said, we have done it together before. I'll link it in the description box. And then just through here, if you keep going straight through, it's the parking for the national park. So you can do lots of walks and things in the national park there, and it's, yeah, a really great experience. Hear me over the wind. I might actually leave this video here now on this absolutely incredible view. Thank you so much for joining me today. I've really loved spending the time with you. We did a little bit of gardening. We've taken a gorgeous tour of one of my favourite local beaches. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.